Alright guys, welcome back. Survival Living here. So today's video is going to be a long one, so put it in the background, listen in if you want to. That'd really help out the channel. Today we're going to be discussing prepping, the how-tos. Alright, we need to discuss, especially for some of our new viewers that are brand new to prepping, where to get started at, what you need to be working on. Alright, everything that we can think of right here in the studio, what I can cover, and what we have shown in the past on our channel, to get people geared in the right direction. Fact is, there's too much stuff going on across our country and also other countries. I'm reading new reports with the whole Russia and Ukraine stuff, new military equipment being brought in, possibility of contractors going to Ukraine to repair equipment. That's a powder keg over there, and we just need to be ready. But fortunately, SHTF preparedness is a broad spectrum of preparedness. It's not just wartime. It's everything from natural disaster to the end-all be-all. Alright, so let's get into it. Okay, so one of the very first things I want to discuss, and I'm trying to put this stuff in order, guys, it just depends on the scenario. Water. Alright, most importantly, bottled water. Now, water takes a lot of room. It does. It weighs a lot. Alright, so if you're trying to store this stuff, it takes up a lot of room. Now, there's many options out there. You can either store them in 1-gallon jugs. You can get the bricks, the brick containers that you store water in, stack them up underneath the bed, things like that. You can get rain barrels, which works great collecting rainwater. When it comes to rainwater, I recommend filtering this water out. And which will bring us to the next thing here is water filters. I do believe you need to have a stockpile of water on hand, but I do know the space required. Alright, it takes a lot of room to store enough water for people. With a water filter, there's many different types out there, guys. We've done everything from the Sawyers to Life Straws to more expensive water filtration system. The main thing you need to be stocking up, in my opinion, is one that deals with bacterial. Alright, Sawyers work great, Life Straws work. I don't like using a Life Straw because I have to get right down to the water, I have to collect it. It's up to you, alright, on those. The Sawyers, you can back flush them, you get almost 100,000 gallons out of them. That's why I like them. Now, that just depends on what type of scenario we're facing to deal with bacteria. What if there's other contaminants, chemical, heavy metals, things like that? Now, some of these companies do offer different types of water filtration. I know Sawyer's got like the S3 series that filters out all that stuff. So, you know, just do your research on it. So a water filter, get you an at-home water filter as well. We've done videos on that. We're partnered up with 4 Patriots. They're actually sending me a new system design for the home. We've been doing reviews on the large water cooler filtration system. Thing's a beast. But they're also sending me a new product in to be doing some testing out. It reminds me of the Big Berkeys. Alright, so we're going to be checking that out. You need to have an at-home water filtration system too. But don't rely on your pipes producing water. Because when the grid goes down, your water's not coming in. Alright, if you have a well outside, unless it's a hand-drawn well, if you don't have a way of powering that thing up, you're not going to get water either. My next recommendation is food. Fact is, you need water to cook, clean, drink, but you can only last a few days without water. Now, food. Food requires water. This is why water was our first one. Okay, water filtration. Food. Guys, we have shown not every week, but nearly every week, a weekly prep video. That is us going to our local grocery stores, buying stapled foods and canned goods. Alright, canned goods, dry goods. This is your canned chicken, spam, hams. All this stuff is canned up. Vegetables, everything. We buy canned goods. And we also get dry goods, rice, dried beans, lentils. Oh, that's technically a bean. Then again, it might not be. Don't argue with me. You know what I'm saying. Pastas, flour, sugar, salt. These are things we put in Mylar, which is over there. Mylar bags. Stored correctly, they last a very, very long time. But with the canned goods and dry goods, this is food that I recommend you putting in a normal rotational stock. You can easily get up to a 2 year of food, okay, for you and your family. that you eat off of every week, and every time comes payday, you replace it. Go to the store, replace it, put it in the back of that stock. No matter what happens today, you'll have 2-year supply of food for you and your family. And that's a 2-year rotational stock. The reason I put it 2-year, it's just much easier, but it does take up a lot of room. You can actually store even more than that. Some canned goods, 3 to 5 years on their dates, as long as they're stored correctly, temperature control. They last a very long time. So feasibly, you can easily do a 5-year rotational stock of canned goods and dry goods, stuff that you are always using, always replacing. This is going to take up a lot of room. All right, 5 years worth of food, even for one person, is a lot. Now imagine a family of 4. Quite a bit of food. All right, so it's going to take up room. And now it's not required for survival, but some of us invested into long-term food storage. That's companies like Patriot, Legacy, Nutrient Survival, Augason Farms. There's a lot of companies out there. We've done a lot of reviews, and we're affiliated with a lot of these companies. My recommendation, before you purchase long-term food storage, the stuff that lasts 25 years, get a normal rotational stock first. You can get that food, that normal food, canned goods and dry goods, at a fraction of a cost. A year's supply of that is a fraction of a cost compared to a year's supply of long-term food storage. Now, do I like long-term food stores? Yes, I do. We're talking a 25-year shelf life. All right? You can put that back, stick it in a corner somewhere. As long as you got your temperatures controlled, you're good. That stuff's going to last 25 years. Just keep the rodents at bay. You'll be all right. But you don't have to have this stuff to survive. It just depends on what you're looking at, what you're preparing for. I like the idea. It's easy to hand off that stuff. When we were working on getting some of our family members set up, it was easier to get them prepared using that because they didn't have to go to the store. They don't have to deal with rotational stock. They know that they have so much food available to them that's going to last 25 years, put in a closet somewhere. So it does has its pros as well. Now, with long-term food storage, water becomes key. It takes a lot of water to rehydrate this food, especially the freeze-dried. It takes a lot of water. So it goes back to our first one, water and water filtration. All right, you've got to be able to have clean, drinkable water, not contaminated with heavy metals or chemicals to cook with. Now this one here, I'm going to put on the list too. Seeds. All right, growing a garden. But please don't just stockpile seeds. Don't just vacuum seal them, mylar them up. You need to learn how to garden. All right, just because you have seeds does not mean you're going to have a successful garden to grow food. I see the arguments all the time on the internet. Most of these arguments are coming from people that's never got their hands dirty in the dirt. I have a ton of seeds. I don't have to stockpile food. Well, what are you going to eat for those 4 to 5 months of grow time when you got your garden growing? You got to eat something while you're waiting for that plant to produce. This is why we say stockpile food. Now, seeds are a good thing. It takes a lot of work. You need to be learning how to work in your environment many different times a year, different seasons, and see what crops you can actually grow. All right, just because you got a whole bunch of corn, can you grow corn during the wintertime? Do you have greenhouses? What is your actual strategy plan to grow food for your family? Having stockpiles of food is great. It's the first big step. That there covers you while you're doing growing season. In case your garden fails, let's say one season your garden fails the first season and you only had 4 months supply of food put back. It's going to take another 4 months and now you're going into a different season. Are you prepared for that? What if pests come in or some type of disaster strikes your garden, destroys it? Then what? Seeds are good, but you got to make sure you know how to grow a garden and you got to have that backup of food supply. Next up, medical. Now, medical covers a huge field and I am not a medical professional. I can tell you what we do here. All right, we build our own medical kits. We are affiliated with MyMedic. They have a lot of great medical supplies. I have a lot of other affiliates with other companies. I use them as well. And we put our own kits together. Everything from immediate trauma, from gunshot, to flu, colds, broke arm. These things you need to have supplies in. These ways of treating this, you need to have supplies for. Now, when it comes down to medical, if you are dependent on medication, you need to be stockpiling as much of that as you can. If the shipping of medicine stops, how much do you have in your home? There's no pharmacy. How are you going to replace this? Now, there are some homeopathic, I believe that's the right word, big word, I know, don't get me started on that, at-home treatments, all right, natural remedies, things like that, all right? Yeah, you can learn these things. I encourage you to. But some medication you have to live on. I know some people that has to have a blood thinner. If they don't, they'll stroke out. Diabetic medication. Do you have enough insulin? Are you able to substitute your normal insulin for the other counter medicine that you can get without a prescription? Do you have that availability? Do you have enough needles to supply that supply of insulin? Having medication that your life depends on it is very important. Now, this would go up there with water and food, in my opinion, if you are life dependent on medication. All right, because you got to have that. I know people that cannot miss a pill or a couple pills and they're in the emergency room. So medication is very important. Now, this one here, alternative power. And I'm bringing alternative power this early in because if you are reliant on medical equipment, how are you going to power that machine up? All right, I know we have a lot of viewers that are on CPAP machines. I've actually spoken to a couple of these people personally. And those little solar generators, yeah, they work good. They'll power up a CPAP machine, get your solar panel for it, ready to rock and roll. And they last a very long time. But we've also done videos on building your own solar grid, even a small solar grid. You know, you could build a small solar grid that's going to run medical equipment, a mini fridge, lighting, floor fans, under $2,000. We've been using our system for 3 years now, something like that, and we live with it daily. We run all kind of stuff all the time. It is a large investment, but you can piece most of this together. I do recommend when you buy your battery banks to hook those up, you want to really buy them all at one time. That way you're not chasing down bad batteries when you have them mixed and matched as far as the date goes, because of course your older battery is going to drop out before anybody else. So then you're trying to figure out what battery went out on you. I do recommend trying to get them all at the same time. But when it comes to solar panels, no big deal. You can buy them separately, build yourself an array, the wiring, all that stuff. There should be a video pop up there for you guys. It's two-part basics solar, complete build up, tear down of our solar grid. I do recommend something like this. Lasts a very long time, easy to maintain. Yeah. Or alternative power, wind turbine. All right, wind turbines work if you're in the right area for wind. I have a wind turbine, but I'm not in the area for wind. It's not going to produce the power I need at all. So I'm in Florida. We get a lot of sun. Solar works great. So something to be looking at is alternative power. And the fact is, if you're going to be running any type of security, anything like that at your home, surveillance equipment. If the grid's down, you have a surveillance equipment that you can set up after the grid down. You can power it up and you can keep track of everything using IR cameras, night vision. Yeah, it's nice to have alternative power. Can you live without power? Most people can. But some people are dependent on it medically wise. They got to have it. And depends on where you're at. Just like Arizona. I lived out there for a few years. It gets hot. It'd be nice to be able to turn on that squirrel fan, that swamp cooler, and cool off your house. But if there's no grid, how are you going to do that? Now, I wanted to discuss defensive tools. Yeah, the bang bangs. Guys, I definitely encourage you to have these things. Have plenty of what we call freedom seas, ammunition. You have to be able to defend your property. You have to be able to defend and protect your family. Depends on what scenario is coming at you, whether it be civil unrest, foreign military, or just some people trying to loot your stuff. You have to be able to protect it. Now, I can't tell you what you are going to do as a moral standpoint. That is on you. I can tell you I'll do anything I can to protect my family and property. All right, especially during SHTF. Now, I want to stress this out. Just because you have a defensive tool, a firearm, doesn't mean you're going to win every encounter. You need to be training with this. You need to become familiarize yourself with it and train with it. All right, go to the range. Start picking up defensive training. Learn how to use that firearm to protect your home. Not just because you got a street house or laying against the back door, you're ready to go. Because odds are the people that's coming to your home are also armed as well. All right, should be a video pop up here for you. I did a mocked up video showing you an exterior wall build. Bullets ripped right through it. Shotgun, 22, handguns, right through it. The thought of just hiding in your home is not protection. Sure, you might be able to lay low for a while, but if there are groups out there that want to come in, and if they're smart, and most will be, they'll watch you for a while, learn your routines. So you need to be training with these defensive tools. With that being said, having an escape plan. It's called bugging out. And the new generation of people coming into prepping, they are very against this, because when prepping first hit YouTube, everybody was running around with their bug out bags and, hey, we're going to run to the woods and go survive. I actually teach outdoor survival. It's not easy. All right, most people will die out there. You need to have a plan. You need to have a destination already routed out. You need to have supplies along your way. You also need to have that location stockpiled up as well. Well, let's say you get there because you're forced out of your home and somebody's already at that location too. Well, these type of locations, you need to have them better situated, but anything can happen. So you need to have another backup plan on that. All right. My recommendation for bug out locations depends on where you're at. If you're in the city, you need to have a bug out location out of the city. Could be a very close friend that lives in a rural area 20 to 30 miles away. That's a bug out location. That's the next staging point. Do you have a plan from there? It's not just running out to the woods and living in a cave. Do we have plans similar to that? Yes, we do. But it just depends on if that's feasible for us. The situation might not require that. Instead, it might require me to relocate 40 miles away to another individual's home that we're preparing part of our group, and that's where we would stay at if our area was getting overrun. That's a bug out plan. Doesn't mean you have to go run out into the woods and go Rambo on deer or pig with a big knife. So all in all, that is the very basics right there. Please check out our playlist, guys. We've got a lot of great information. I don't just tell you what we're doing. I actually video shoot and show you how we do things. All right, we're not a talking head channel here. We try to show you, teach you by showing you. Now, there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that are great YouTubers, great prepping channels. I encourage you, especially if you're new, to reach out, look at these other channels. Inside of our own community here, down below in the community section, there'll be a ton of people offering recommendations. They'll be offering other channels to go to check out. Check them out. All right, keep an open mind. Ask questions. Okay, if it's not making sense of what they're trying to say, ask a question. I do encourage you to reach out to other YouTube channels. Try to learn as much as you can. All right, there is a lot of stuff coming our way. Here on YouTube, yeah, I make money teaching prepping on YouTube, outdoor survival. I do. I've always been open about that. I get paid by my views. Sure do. Never lied about that. It's called being monetized. It gives me the opportunity to reach more people, get more people educated in preparedness, because when you are a monetized YouTube channel, the platform pushes you in front of more people. And those people you get to reach and teach. All right, guys. Definitely do appreciate you hanging out with us, and we'll speak to y'all later.